Hey, good morning, seventh graders. Mr. Collison here with a little video for you guys for Thursday. We are talking about plants. You guys have been looking at some different videos that I've been posting up all week. I believe today it's Wednesday morning. You were watching the carnivorous plants, which there were the three different varieties. That's all great. I hope you guys have enjoyed some of those. But what we are going to do is we're going to start moving forward with talking about photosynthesis. And this is going to springboard us into the balancing chemical equations, which we're going to be working on mainly next week. So what I wanted to do this morning is I wanted to just give you guys a quick rundown of what photosynthesis is, okay? We all know that plants make their own food. It's not a surprise. Everybody kind of understands that. We call plants autotrophs. Autotrophs are a term that say, basically, the definition is something that makes its own food, okay? The process that a plant uses to make its own food is photosynthesis, and this is stuff that you guys have probably learned before. What I would like to do today is just give you a quick rundown of what that actually looks like when a plant is undergoing this particular reaction. So what I have for you guys here is I've got a handy dandy little model, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of highlight a few things. But obviously, guys, what we know about photosynthesis is plants do this process within their leaves. So during the winter time here in Devil's Lake, when there's no leaves on the tree, that plant's kind of dormant. It's actually not doing anything. But what we will see is that on our leaves, there's a number of different structures that we're going to see. We'll start with the outermost layer right here. That's called the epidermis. Okay, that's kind of that green waxy color. And then it turns different colors in the fall, that kind of stuff. There are little veins then that are also going to be going across your leaf. And that is actually part of the stem, which is this part right here. And you guys can see that the veins are actually what are carrying some of the materials that are needed. Now, what exactly is needed for photosynthesis to occur? Well, it's quite simple. Number one, it's going to require carbon dioxide. Okay, that's a waste product that we give off, but plants are going to find that very, very, very useful. Number two, it's going to require water, H2O, okay? Stuff we drink, same thing. Number three, it's going to require sunlight, okay? And that's why in the springtime, when all the plants are blooming, we actually see a lot of those buds as they are popping open and stuff. That sunlight's helping to trigger that. Now, what that is going to make for the plant is it's going to make two things. Number one is a substance called glucose. And this one's got a really, really, really hard chemical equation to it. We'll get to that next week. But glucose is a type of sugar. And that's what the plant is actually going to be using. And it also creates a byproduct of oxygen, which is really, really good for us because guess what? We need it to be able to breathe. So everything that we're seeing here is cyclical. So we provide some of the stuff for the plant provides some of the stuff for us, and we're able to survive. Now, what you'll also notice here, guys, is I actually have a bunch of different arrows. So the first thing that you notice is this arrow right here. We see that this is how water is going to be getting into the plant. Oh, I got it upside down, but that's okay. I think you guys can probably read it. It'll be fine. Basically, there we go. Water enters the leaf through the stem, okay? Energy from the sun is then absorbed by chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll is a green pigment found inside of that plant. I'll get there in just a second. You're going to see it. And that's actually what's helping to trigger this whole photosynthetic process, okay? I'm going to flip this back over because we got some more things we got to talk about. Okay, now, guys, if we were to actually look on the inside of a leaf, we would see that there's a number of other structures here that are allowing this plant to be successful. The first one, I know it's upside down for you guys, but the first one's called a stoma or a stomata. These are itty bitty little holes or openings on the underside of a leaf. We can't even see them without a microscope, but they are there, and they actually work a lot like a muscle. They actually can open and they can close depending upon how much oxygen that plant is going to be giving off. So the stomata are those itty bitty holes giving off the oxygen that this thing creates. We also have something called a chloroplast, and this actually goes all the way back to chapter 2 when we talked about cells. Chloroplasts are food factories. They are what are making the food for this plant, okay? So what this is going to entail, guys, is that plant is going to take in carbon dioxide through its stomata. It's going to go ahead, mix that up with the chlorophyll, which is the green stuff inside the chloroplast, that sunlight and the water that's coming through the stem. And what it's going to do is it's going to create glucose which are these itty bitty little red things that you see in here. And it has a chemical formula of C6H12O6. We'll get to that next week. Okay. And it also makes oxygen. And then in turn, guys, the plant can use that glucose for its food. And the oxygen is then given off by the leaf through its stomata out to our environment, out to our atmosphere. So that's a really quick rundown of what photosynthesis is and how it occurs. If you want to, you can find this online. I actually just did a cutout of it. Actually, I did it a long time ago. I've had this one for a while. Um, but I thought it'd be a little hard for you guys to be able to get the stuff I wanted. So if you want to, you can go make a model. I'm not requiring it, okay? This is hopefully going to be enough that we need to know. And we are going to talk a little bit more about photosynthesis next week, especially because once we learn how to balance equations, you're going to see how all of this stuff is going to end up fitting together. Okay. All right. I hope that was a decent explanation. If you have questions, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to answer anything that you have. Stay safe. Tomorrow, I have a bonus assignment coming at you. Okay. It's not actually going to be required as homework. It's going to be a bonus opportunity for some of you that want to do that. So be looking for that. We'll talk to you later.